ASTHANA'S hub, the Wondertainment Zone. Hi guys, this is Dollurix and you're watching Hub Tech Talk Season 1 Episode 26. So today's Tech Talks topic is that what is the basic difference between Nvidia GeForce GTX RTX and AMD Radeon and Intel Iris Xe and Intel Arc graphics. And who is the graphics king? Is it Intel or is it Nvidia or is it AMD? So I know that you guys might be fully excited for today's Tech Talks topic, as I'm also, because this is dedicated to us, the gaming community at a whole. And I know our love of gaming rises whenever we heard GAMING. I know that. Okay, so by the way, let's get on to the graphics cards. So today we are going to compare between Nvidia GeForce GTX RTX, Intel Iris Xe and Intel Arc. Also we will compare AMD Radeon with these two big bulls, you see. And yeah, I hope you will like this today's Tech Talk Season 1 Episode 26. And we will not just compare these, but we will also understand the basic difference between the dedicated and integrated graphics card, and which one should you go for if you are a real gamer, then for which one you should go for if you want some good gaming on your PC, personal computer, you see. And also we will understand what is onboard graphics. So let's get on. Let's just do GAMING. So before heading on to the graphics card part of this Tech Talks 26th episode of Season 1, I will just explain you guys that what is the basic difference between dedicated and integrated graphics card. So you see, integrated graphics card is not a separate graphics card, but it is a graphics card which is integrated in the motherboard of the PC itself, meaning you don't have a separate graphics processing unit or GPU, but the GPU is integrated inside the CPU or the central processing unit itself, and that's why only it is not separated. And yeah, the computers or laptops which have integrated graphics card, meaning the GPU integrated in the CPU itself, in the motherboard, in the central motherboard, in those computers you can't do any good gaming as such. Yes, no GAMING as such, not at all, you see. Also you can't just perform any other graphics intensive task as such, like graphics designing or any other graphics intensive task for that reason. And some popular examples of these are Apple's Macs, because they have an integrated graphics card only. Also some Windows laptops who are made for working professionals, keeping this in mind and not keeping GAMING or gaming in mind. They are also made with the integrated graphics card only. But the dedicated graphics card is the thing which we all gamers want, because that is what makes the spirit inside us, the GAMING spirit inside us, rise to its utmost level. Because the dedicated graphics card means that the GPU or the gaming processing unit is not at all integrated in the CPU or the central processing unit, but you have a separate graphics card, a separate graphics processing unit, GPU, other than the CPU, which means the computers which have a dedicated graphics card, you can play the ultimate games on them. Even my Dell Inspiron 7425 is a computer which has a dedicated AMD Radeon graphics card of Radeon 5000 series, and yeah, it's really amazing for sure. So that was the basic difference between dedicated and integrated graphics card. And now we can get on to the graphics card comparison between Nvidia GeForce, AMD Radeon and Intel Iris Xe and Intel Arc. So let's just do this. So I just wanted to add to the integrated graphics card thing that the onboard graphics is the other word or a synonym of integrated graphics only. Now let's just get on to the hotshot graphics card comparison topic of this video. So before starting the main topic itself, I would just like to tell you guys that today's Tech Talks topic is going to be a bit long. It's a huge topic, and so today's 26th episode of Tech Talks Season 1 is also going to be a bit lengthy. So please stay tuned till the end of this TechTalks-HUBvideo, which is the 26th part of Season 1 Tech Talks. because today we are going to compare all the graphics card, all the super beast graphics card in the market provided to us by Nvidia, Intel and AMD. So we will start our comparison with the GeForce GTX 1650, which is provided to us by Nvidia, and on the other hand we will compare it with the Radeon RX 6500M, which is provided to us by AMD. So you see AMD Radeon RX 6500M has a 71% score on the 3D Mark Firestrix graphics comparison, which is the scale of comparison, and the score of the Nvidia GeForce GTX 1650 is a bit less. It is approximately 65.6%, which is actually a bit less than the 6% less than the score of the AMD Radeon RX 6500M. And so here you can clearly see that Nvidia GeForce GTX 1650 is a bit inferior in comparison to Radeon RX 6500M, which is on the other hand superior to it, or vice versa. You can see like that. By the way, I would just also say that it is no problem as such, because these scores are very accurate, and actually if you are a noob kind of gamer, or actually you just do casual gaming, it won't affect you much, but for hardcore gamers it do matters. This even a slight 6% difference in the 3D mark rating of both the graphics cards, you see. Also, to add on to this, I would say that the AMD Radeon RX 6500M is 957 days newer in comparison to the GTX 1650 provided to us by Nvidia GeForce. So you see, absolutely it is undoubtedly normal only, because a newer product will have more higher ratings in comparison to an older product. You see, that's very newbie thing. You can understand it even if you are not as such very tech savvy. If you want to understand the difference between Nvidia GeForce GTX and Nvidia GeForce RTX, then I have already made a Tech Talks episode dedicated fully to this Tech Talks topic, and yeah, you can check that out. I will put its link in the description box. Now getting on to the topic, Nvidia offers GeForce GTX and RTX gaming graphics card lineup, and on the other hand AMD Radeon provides us with the RX graphics card lineup. And on the other hand, Intel, which is the third competitor, which is a new competitor in the graphics card market, it provides us Iris Xe onboard or integrated graphics, and Arc graphics, which is a dedicated graphics lineup. So as we have to talk about GAMING or gaming only, so we are not going to pay much attention to Intel Iris Xe, but yeah, we will just pay a bit of attention to it, but we will fully focus on Intel Arc for gaming. Here in front of us we can see the Batman Arkham Knight RTX, GTX and RX ratings. Here we can see Death Stranding, Radeon RX and GeForce RTX ratings. Here we can see the 3D mark scores of RX, RTX, RTX Ti. So when we talk about Nvidia GeForce GTX 1650, then one more graphics card comes in our mind automatically, which is linked to this one only, and which is the GTX 1650 Super. So if you compare them both, then the GTX 1650 Super is 40 to 50% faster than the GTX 1650 Standard Edition. So basically it's 50%, which is more than half more powerful than the GTX 1650. So if the GTX 1650 is 100% efficient for providing high quality FPS graphics, then the GTX 1650 Super is automatically 150% efficient in providing the same amount of graphics, in fact better than it. And also it has a 6-pin power adapter for the GPU, so only buy it when your PC or the personal computer or desktop which you have, it has a 6-pin power port inside it, because if it doesn't have it, then you should go for the GTX 1650 only, because then buying 1650 Super will be just a waste of money and nothing more than that. Also, when you compare GTX 1650, then as we compare it with the Super, also one more 1650 lineup is right there. We can compare the GTX 1650 with the GTX 1650 Ti or OC, and if you compare them both, we can clearly see that the difference between them, the basis of difference is CUDA cores. So basically, the GTX say 1650, the standard edition, it has 826 CUDA cores, and 1650 Ti or OC has 1024 CUDA cores. So obviously GTX 1650 Ti is much better, much superior than the standard edition GTX 1650. Just like the Super was better than it. Even the Ti or OC is better than it. And also one more good thing which we get it with it is that it is good for buying, but not only when you need a laptop, but yeah, you can even get this with a desktop. Actually, I would prefer to buy this, the GTX 1650 Ti, when you have a desktop and you want a custom build, because then in a desktop you have a provision to install more DDR4 RAM. So I would prefer to buy it with a desktop only, because don't buy it with a laptop, because in laptops and even gaming laptops it would be difficult to find the GTX 1650 Ti. But in custom build PCs, you are the ultimate boss of GAMING. So you can do whatever you want there, but not in the laptops, you see. As the Nvidia GeForce GTX 1650 is a low-end graphics card, low-end entry card, that's why only the GTX 1650 Super and GTX 1650 Ti or OC are much better than it, because they are the high-end options in the GTX 1650 lineup provided to us by Nvidia GeForce Graphics. While playing Crisis 3, this is the total system power consumption of Radeon RX, GTX, GTX Super. And this is the Intel Arc A750 GeForce RTX 3060 comparison. So now we will shift our attention from Nvidia and will pay attention to Intel Arc and AMD Radeon. And if we compare the AMD Radeon RX 7600 with the Intel Arc E750, so here the RX 7600 outperforms Arc A750 by 16% as per the 3D Mark 11 scoring of GPU rating. If we compare the Intel Arc A750 with the Nvidia GeForce GTX and RTX, so we can clearly see that the Intel Arc here is much better than them. And if we compare the Intel Arc A750 with the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, 3060 Ti and 3070, so here we can clearly see that Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, 3060 Ti, 3070 have a bigger battery capacity storage than the Intel Arc A750 with 8 GB. It is more than enough for them, but yeah, with 12 GB of storage space and battery life, the Intel Arc is for sure an overkill and much better than the Nvidia GeForce GTX and RTX, or for that reason better than the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, 3060 Ti and 3070. But yeah, it has a higher amount of TDP, which means it will consume more battery and will then also withstand less time, which is pathetic for hardcore gaming. So here, kudos to Nvidia GeForce GTX and RTX and GTX RTX 360, 360 Ti and 3070, because they are much better than the Intel Arc A750 in terms of the battery consumption. Yes, I admit that they have less storage with 8 gigs than the Intel Arc, but yeah, they do have a bigger amount of battery life, as they don't have TDP, which means they don't have less battery amount of battery or battery storage. And if you compare the same with the Intel Arc A750, it has more amount of RAM storage with 12 GB, 4 GB straight away more than the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060 and 3060 Ti and 3070, but yeah, it does not have that much power, storage capacity or the battery life as such, not at all. We can technically compare the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, 3060 Ti and 3070 with the Intel Arc A750 because they both have a common shading technology, which is CUDA, CUDA, and which they have both Nvidia and Intel have jointly developed. And we can compare the RTX 3060 with the A750 on this technical basis of CUDA shading technology only. This is the technical comparison between Intel Arc A750 and Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060. And this is the 1080p geomean of RTX, RX and Arc. So now we will come to the Intel Arc A770 and we can straight away compare it with the AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT, because here we can clearly see that Radeon RX 6600 XT has a UHD or ultra high definition resolution of 1080p, which is a lot. But yeah, even here the Intel Arc A770, actually here it is not very good, but yeah, it still matches with the pace with 1440p of resolution, which or even you can clearly understand is clearly less than 1080p, and as it is less than full HD quality, it's not very good. And if you compare Intel Arc A770 with the Radeon RX 6600 XT, then here technically on the part of the pixels and resolution, the Arc is left behind and Radeon is on the superior side. But yeah, for sure the Arc A770 is much better than the Nvidia's GeForce RTX 30 series and lineup, and that too on the technical specification of ray tracing, because on the part of ray tracing, clearly the Arc A770 wins the war, as it has a much better quality of ray tracing and shadow VFX effects than the Nvidia GeForce RTX 30 series lineup. So here Nvidia is a loser and the winner is Intel Arc graphics A770, better than the GeForce RTX 30 series lineup. If we compare the Intel Arc A770 with Nvidia GeForce RTX 4060 Ti, then we can clearly see that with 16 GB of VRAM, the Intel Arc A770 is much better on the comparison of storage than the Nvidia GeForce RTX 4060 Ti, which only has half or 8 gigs of RAM. So here, on the basis of storage, once again, Nvidia is a loser and Intel Arc is a winner. So here we compare the Intel Arc A770 with Nvidia RTX 4060, and this is the 1080p geomean of A770 and RX 7600. So if we compare the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3050 with the Intel Iris Xe G796EU, so in some parameters the GTX outperforms the Iris Xe, and that is even expected because Intel Iris Xe is just an onboard or integrated graphics card, whereas on the other hand the GTX is a dedicated graphics card. So because dedicated graphics cards are better for gaming or gaming than the integrated or onboard graphics cards. We all know that as gamers by heart. This is the technical comparison of Intel Iris, Radeon Vega and GTX RTX. This is the passmark score of Iris Plus and Iris HD. This is the Geekbench 5 compute of Radeon Pro Vega, Radeon Pro, Iris Plus, Iris UHD, Iris HD. So what I conclude from this Hub Tech Talk Season 1 Episode 26 is that Nvidia GeForce GTX and RTX are graphic cards designed for elite hardcore gaming, and the Intel Arc graphics card, on the other hand, are designed for the minimalistic level gaming, not for any hardcore gaming as such, whereas the AMD Radeon graphics cards take their place between the Intel Arc and the Nvidia GeForce GTX and RTX, as they are neither on the upper side nor on the lower side. They are the mid segment or the segment of the middle. They are designed for the gamers who just want to do casual gaming, but not at all for the hardcore gamers like us hubsters. On the other hand, if you talk about the Intel Iris Xe, so it is an onboard or integrated graphics card, meaning the GPU is integrated in the CPU itself, as I have told you guys and explained it to you before also in this Tech Talks video, and it is the same thing. So the integrated or the onboard graphics card are not at all good. In fact, they are a deep, big, bad mark on the name of graphics and gaming, because you can just do 0% gaming, a big 0% gaming on the onboard or integrated graphics card. As they are integrated ones, you cannot do any gaming or any other graphics intensive task as such on it. You can't do gaming, you can't do game developing, you can't do graphics designing on a onboard or integrated graphics card, not at all. So no graphics intensive works or works that require heavy graphics can't be performed on a integrated graphics card, PC, laptop, because they are basically meant for working professionals only, and Macs are a good example of that. Also some Windows laptops which are designed such, like the Lenovo Yoga or the Dell XPS, you can't just do gaming, not at all on them, because a good gaming laptop or a good gaming PC requires good ventilation system, good cooling system, and a good graphics card to do gaming on gaming. And that's why only Iris Xe is not at all good for the gaming stuff, so we are just leaving it apart. But actually I had to cover it, so what I conclude is you can't just do gaming on Iris Xe onboard graphics or any other onboard graphics like that. So that's it. Hope you guys like this superb graphics card comparison or the war of graphics. I hope that it has been fully resolved, and now you know that for which purpose you can go for which graphics card. I hope this doubt of yours has been covered in this today's Tech Talk Season 1 Episode 26. If really, then do please click on like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and stay tuned on Hub the Wondertainment Zone for more amazing Wondertainment Hub videos just like this one. This is me, Sandro, signing off. I will meet you in the next one. Till then, bye bye and adios.
Download the Software Hub app today.